Welcome to week 2 of our Vision 2020 small group study. We hope you enjoyed your discussion centered around seeking God last week. This week we will focus on growing up in our faith and maturing in our spiritual lives. Ephesians 4:15 tells us that we are to grow until we have reached the maturity of Christ. We understand we are to grow up into the image of Christ Himself, and that this is the end goal for growth in our spiritual lives. In order to grow up into Christ's image, we must imitate the life that He lived. This past Sunday morning, we read from Philippians chapter 3 and recognized the humility and the obedience of Jesus. We saw that as we humble ourselves and we follow God in obedience, we are able to grow up in our faith. We see that it was Jesus who emptied Himself and gave up everything in order to provide an opportunity for us to have a relationship with Him. I wonder, what are we willing to give up in life so that we may grow up into our faith? Jesus' humility led way to His obedience and Him being able to fully say to God, "Your will be done." In what ways could we walk in obedience and say to God, "Your will be done in my life"? We also saw on Sunday morning that it may seem impossible to imitate Christ perfectly in His humility and in His obedience. But we have hope that we can continue to strive forward and grow in our faith despite any imperfections that we may have, and despite what our efforts at spiritual growth looked like yesterday. Every day we have the opportunity to take another small step toward growing up into the humble and obedient image of Christ. So I want to encourage each of you to continue pressing forward and growing up in your faith. As we grow up in our faith, we grow out to be the people and the church God would have us to be. The efforts we make towards growing up in our faith now will be the efforts that God celebrates and rewards in the year 2020. Now, as you move forward to your small group discussion time, we would like to ask you to take some time and answer the questions on the front and back of your small group handout. These questions will be the foundations for your discussion time, and we hope you enjoy spending time talking and discussing how it is that God is specifically calling us to both humble ourselves and obediently follow Him so that we may grow up in our faith.